Hi there, welcome back to Kelly Martin Speaks. This is a continuation of a lot of unveiling that has been arising in me lately. I'm going to speak on this video about reparenting ourselves. I had a revelation last night after a talk with Michael. Sometimes he kicks my arse, and I need a good kick in the arse sometimes. I've had a lot of stress this past few days about bringing my art out, and a lot of ideas, a lot of creativity. I started to write a list, and I did a book. I've started a book which is like so, just a normal notebook. Which I write down my ideas in, and I am structuring things I can do each day. Now, the stress that arose in me was because I was feeling quite overwhelmed, and I guess a lot of resistance to directing my life, and I guess a part of me saw directing my life as being disciplined, but in the sense of somebody with a whip over me saying, do this, gotta do that today, really stressy discipline. And I realised that I need to reparent myself. When do we need to reparent? It's when we get to a stage in our lives and we realise that we haven't grown up and we haven't matured, and our inner child is in control. Not the happy, joyful inner child, but the willfully reckless, wild, stamping feet, hissy fit inner child. The inner child that wants everything done for them and wants, but doesn't make the effort or discipline themselves. And I need to grow up, and it's quite a challenge when you're 35 to realise that you are a 5'10" 5-year-old, and when you say that to yourself, you think it's amusing in the joyful sense, but when there's a part of you that isn't willing to take the next step that adults and grown-ups do, you realise it's become a bit of a problem. So we need to reparent when what we're doing isn't working, when we're not able to follow through on things, when we procrastinate, when we're not very assertive, when we lack confidence. A lot of things. You can just look at your childhood and ask whether the parenting style worked for you. And I know that 99% probably of the population, parenting styles aren't that balanced. It's not a bad thing. We aren't given manuals to parent our children, but it's a good time, I suppose, to question what is parenting and what do we need. This is what I'm doing right now. I was talking to Michael last night about different parenting styles, and some of us have parents who are strict and controlling, and some of us may have parents who are quite soft, give us very few boundaries and don't really discipline us as children. Then we have the other parents who tend to be in between, the balanced parents who discipline their children with love and are also gentle and nurturing. I had the more soft approach in my childhood. I had very little discipline, and I was given everything I wanted, and my parents did everything for me. And when I say everything, I mean everything. From tidying my room, to making me food, to bringing it to me. Quite cringeworthy now when I think about it. I was pretty much spoilt, like I imagine a young princess would be. I was really spoilt. And while at the time as a child, it's, especially when you're a teenager and you're very lazy, have everything done for you, bonus. But I also realise now how much disciplining children and laying down boundaries actually is very beneficial and very loving to children. It sets up a safety structure for them. They feel safe. They may kick up their heels and kick a fuss in the beginning while the discipline is beginning and the boundaries are being laid, but after a while they get used to it and they feel safe, protected by their parents within the boundaries and within the discipline. What happened to me was the softly approach and the spoilt, rotten approach made me doubt my ability to follow things through. Didn't make me very assertive or confident in being able to do things for myself. I've spent a lifetime of having other people do things for me, and almost like I'm sitting waiting for life to hand things to me on a plate, and not taking responsibility for my actions myself, which I am doing now, but it's been a long time coming. I even, apart from travelling where I was responsible and directed my life, I went from parents who did everything for me to 2 weeks of doing something for myself, and then my father died, and then I moved in with Michael, who took the place of my mother. He's not doing it anymore, but I let him spoil me rotten, do everything for me. Oh my god, I'm quite ashamed, quite embarrassed that he does so much for me. And it's got to stop, because I realise there's so many projects, so many creative ideas I've had in the past, I have never followed through with them, because I have been I start something like a child, get all excited, and then don't follow through with it, because I have this belief in me that I can't do it. I can't do anything for myself. And I've never practiced self-discipline. Self-discipline to me has been such a scary thing that it's almost felt like a really negative sort of discipline to me. I didn't realise discipline could be living and bring self-confidence, and to have self-discipline and willpower. I am ready to practice self-discipline and willpower now, because I not only need to self-discipline myself in the every general day things, but self-discipline in my mind, how I think, change the way I think, believe that I can discipline myself there, and to do things when I don't feel like doing them, when I'm tired or I can't be asked, I'm feeling lazy to do them, be it exercise, to washing the dishes, to writing, to drawing, the TV. the TV is a snooze box. It's a lazy box. It's a box that we put on when we can't be asked to practice self-discipline or willpower. And it's okay to watch it if you're doing it out of fun and joy. It's something you really want to see, you know, but not for long periods of time. I don't do it for long periods of time, fortunately, but I have been using the internet as my alternative snooze box, you know, just surfing for nothing, doing nothing, just surfing. It's quite freaking scary, you know. And I started thinking about my big dream related to my last video, traveling, you know. Why do I want to travel? Now I know I want to see the world. I know that's a passion inside of me, but there's also an aspect, I feel, why I've been focusing on it so much lately, an aspect that escape, it's an escape, but it takes me away from the responsibility and the self-discipline of being committed, fully committed to one project at a time, committed to myself and my life and my confidence and changing who I think I am, unveiling myself, allowing the old false self to crumble. And this is where I am now. It's self-discipline comes into so many aspects of life. I guess there comes a point in our lives where we think, well, I can choose the easy approach, or is it easy? Sitting, waiting, or expecting life to bring things to us. Is that the easy approach? Or is that the lazy approach? It could be an easy approach if we let things come to us, if we're also taking action, inspired action, but if we're using it as an excuse to commit to our lives, then it's not easy, it's lazy. You know, if we want to give up a food that we feel isn't good for us, or we want to stop doing any activity or start doing an activity that is good for us, we can sit on our arse all day talking about it, but we have to decide to do it. And I was reading an article online last night from this guy on self-discipline and willpower, and he said that those that who've never had any self-discipline or willpower should do it really easily, do it really softly in the beginning, gently, not try and do too many things, not try to structure our lives too much to begin with, because the resistance just becomes too big. So he just said do little things, you know, like if you put sugar in your coffee, have a week without sugar, just to learn what discipline is, to practice it. If you're working and you really feel like you need a shower, but instead you sit down and watch TV, instead of doing that, to get up and have that shower. It's practicing discipline with things that we find resistance to, and this is what I'm practicing. And even though the stress has brought my body levels a bit low at the moment, I know that it's just a reaction to this change I'm making, but I'm taking it gently. I've done things I wouldn't normally do. When Michael's out today, having my day in, I've done some art, I've tidied the flat, basic things, washed the dishes. I've done 2 YouTubes now, and then I'm gonna have a little rest, because when you're starting to do this, allow that rest in. And so reparenting, time to reparent. Do you need to reparent? I'll be interested to hear where you come from, because I know some people have strict upbringings and need more nurturing reparenting styles, and those of us that have soft, easy, spoilt childhoods need to begin again, almost start again. We're becoming from children, we're growing up when we're grown-ups, and it's a bit of a challenge, but I need to move through it. So good luck if you're doing the same, and thanks for listening.